My name is Harvey Jones. I studied modern languages at the University of Birmingham. I graduated in 2021, and I currently work as a parliamentary assistant for an MP. With a modern languages degree, you do have a lot of flexibility in what you can study, and that means that you are, you know, picking up bits from different disciplines and you're learning different skill sets, and that in itself is a really useful thing to know how to do. So, in my final year, I was doing a variety of things like a linguistics module that had special software that I'd never used before, and then a German module and a translation module. And being able to jump between those things and learn how to work with them and do well at them has really helped in this job because, you have such a variety in what you do. So learning how to, develop particular skill sets for one part of your job or one module which are completely different to another part of your job or another module. By doing that at university, it sets you in really good stead for going into a really wide variety of roles in the future because you are adaptable and you are picking up new bits every day and developing those special sort of particular skills. Um, I think also just being able to speak to people with a languages degree, it's all about communication, and that's the main skill that you use on your year abroad is being able to throw yourself into a new situation and speak another language that's not your native language all the time. um, and I think that's really helped with when in my job, answering phone calls from various charities or campaigning organizations or other MPs that want to do things or want to have an event or want the member of parliament I work for to speak on a particular issue. Being able to engage with people productively and actually find out what they want, how we can help them, and sort of maybe work out compromises if the diary doesn't work or if it's not something that members are particularly interested in. Those all come from those skills are really helped by doing things like the year abroad or doing things like oral exams and speaking classes because you're putting yourself in those situations that may be slightly uncomfortable to you at first or they're not what you're used to, but you learn how to adapt and use your communication skills effectively. So that has been a massive help. And I suppose just as well, just the arts and humanities, not just modern languages, but things like the dissertation that I did in my final year are really useful for working for an MP, particularly if you're in a researcher role, because it is what you will do. You will need to, find out new information on a topic. You'll need to go to research briefings and find out what the key facts are. You're skimming sources to find other sources or relevant information, and then putting them all together in one side of A4. It's the kind of thing that you do for a dissertation. You take a massive article, you trim it down to what's really handy, and then put it into an essay, a digestible format. And that's one of the things that researchers for MPs do every day is taking things from the House of Commons library or charity briefings and making them easily understandable for somebody that's really busy that may be really interested in this topic, but they don't have the time to sit and read a 30-page briefing. Being able to do what I did with a journal article or a chapter in a book for my dissertation, for my job is a invaluable skill. So it may not seem like it's not something that is necessarily on the first glance what you would think of as a transferable skill or what you think of as the standout skill for an arts and humanities degree, but it is so useful for so many jobs and so many different sectors that it's a really useful thing to do. The dissertation just massively helps you manage a project and break things down into easily manageable chunks and set targets and work towards a deadline. So yeah, just the research skills are so useful. Even if it may not seem like it when you're doing it, they will really come in handy in future.